Welcome to the Academic Task 1 Describing Trends lesson. Now, this lesson explains how to describe a line graph or bar chart for IELTS Task 1 that is over time. This uses an example of a bar chart, but it will be the same for a line graph. Now, here are the types of language that you need. When you get a chart or graph to describe, it's always important to check whether there is a time frame or not. If there is, you will need to use the language of change, which means increase, decrease. However, it's not enough just to describe the changes of each element, like ActiveX, Java, and Net in this case, on their own and ignore how they relate to each other. So look at the question. It says, summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So you're asked to compare the data as well. So you must also compare the elements where relevant in your IELTS test. Example, most popular, lower, and the least. So here is a sample graph and answer. You should spend about 20 minutes on this task. The bar chart shows the number of times per week in 1000s over 5 weeks that 3 computer packages were downloaded from the internet. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Write at least 150 words. So here is a sample of the graph, the bar graph. So we have the three variables, ActiveX, Java, and Net for weeks 1 up to week 5. So let's look at our plan. So we start with an introduction. So write a one-sentence paraphrase of the question. And for your overview, make sure you have a one sentence describing the trends. Is it increasing, decreasing, or if it's a fluctuating trend? And then for your body paragraph 1, so we combine ActiveX and Java because they both have the same trend, while body paragraph 2, we have the net because it has the opposite trend. So make sure that you use different language of change. So here are some examples. Gradually increasing, or it could be a slight fall, kept rising, reach a peak, increase at a steady rate, fell, increase sharply, a low of, finish at, stood at, and finishing the period at. So now let's look at our sample answer. So you have your introduction, which is a paraphrase of the question. The bar chart illustrates the download rate per week of ActiveX, Java, and Net computer packages over a period of 5 weeks. And then for your overview, which one is the most popular. It can be clearly seen that ActiveX was the most popular computer package to download, while Net was the least popular of the three. So now we have for our first body paragraph, we combine ActiveX and Java because they have similar patterns. Make sure you also use the correct tense, which is past tense, and then you use also some linking words. To begin with, downloads of ActiveX and Java showed similar patterns with both gradually increasing from week 1 to week 5. However, the purchases of ActiveX remain significantly higher than that of the other products over this time frame. In week 1, purchases of ActiveX stood at around 75,000, while those of Java were about 30,000 lower. Except for a slight fall in week 4, downloading of ActiveX increasing until it reached a peak in the final week of just over 120,000. Java download also had a steady rate, finishing the period at 80,000. So now let's move to body paragraph 2, which talks about the net. The product that was downloaded least was net. This began at slightly under 40,000 and in contrast to the other two products, fell over the next 2 weeks to reach a low of approximately 25,000. It then increased sharply over the following 2 weeks to finish at about 50,000, which was below that of ActiveX. So here we have different linking words like in contrast, then, and then make sure that you have a variety of graph vocabulary like slightly, reach a low of, increase sharply, well below that. So that's how you write a graph that describes trends.